Windows, share content. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my PowerPoint slide.
Yep, it's correct.
Okay, so this is our session title. This is a brief introduction. I will just skip it out and I will come to the right into the final part. Okay, so this is the dashboard which we are looking today to develop in this 50-minute session. We will try to develop this dashboard using different techniques we have. So here we have 3 exercises. First exercise is about to create few measures to calculate number of employee and then show a visual to show number of employee by nationality, and then we have to show number of active employees and then understand the inactive relationship. In the second exercise, we will have the department head count. We will create show the number of employees by department and gender, and then add some images, add some cards. And the third exercise, we will add some group calculation. So the first exercise asks us to do this one, this top 10 nationality head count. The second exercise asks us to do this thing, head count by department. The third exercise is based on head count by age group and work experience. Okay, and second exercise include this one as well. So we will have something familiar with this. So with this, I will start with the blank file. We go right away into the Power BI file. So most of you are new, or if somebody is just started with this, this is a Power BI desktop software which you can download. I think I just skipped one slide where I have all those links available as well, where you can download this file. Okay, so you can download this file Power BI desktop from Microsoft, and this is a free tool. You can develop your reports here in this tool. Okay, so I will just minimize this one. So to have this one, I have some HR data available with me today. I will be using some HR data because we are creating a HR dashboard. So I will go here and I will say first step is to load the data. So I will load the data, and I have this folder called data here. So I have placed my data set here, Excel file here. I will just click on it. It will load this file. Once I load this file, I will select the table. I will have the table name here. So the first step is to, before creating any file, you just need to have the data. So the data here is already prepared. So I have matched the data. I have cleaned up the data. All the things are already done. Although you can do those steps in Power BI as well. You can do the Power Query thing. This is the Power Query. You can do all those things, data match, data cleanup thing here in Power BI as well. Okay, so now we have this data loaded. We load this data. Now you will see a table comes up here and it will have this thing called the table. Okay, it's just loading. So now we have this table in our file. Okay, let's say save this file for now, because this is a good practice whenever you do any changes or starting working with any file. So you just save this file. So now I have saved this file. Now our first task, if you remember, is to create a measure. So to create a measure, just to get the number of head count. So if I create this thing called employee code, if I place it up here, and I place this into a chart visual. So this is the number of employees, which is showing me how it is showing me. It is doing the count, and this one actually creates this one. This is showing me that I have 101 employees, but this is I just drag and drop this field. So I did not create any measure. So to create a measure, you can click on home tab. Yeah, home tab. You can click on new measure, right? You can go to modeling tab. You can click on new measure, or you can right click on the table, any table, and you can create new measure. Also, you can go to this one, table tab, and you can click on new measure. So there are 4 ways to create a measure. I usually prefer this one, or I just right click on the table and then I can click on new measure. Okay. Before that, I will create a new measure, new table here, and I will align all my measures in this table. So I will just have this table created first. So I have this table created, and now I will create a measure inside this table. So I right click on this table and then create it. So my first measure, which I need to create, is number of active employees. So to do that, I already have, I will write a very simple code here. So this is like I have this measure called number of employees, and I'm doing a distinct count for this number of employees. So I created this measure, right? And then you can actually format this thing and you can reuse this one. You just click here, drag and drop, and see this is giving you the same result. Now we'll just hide this one because uh, this is not necessary. So once I hide, I have this measure table coming up here. Okay, so I have now our first exercise was, I will just focus on this one, go back. So we have to create a measure to show number of employees. So I have created this one for now. Now let's move back and say we have to create a chart. So our first task was to create a chart. Let's save it here. Let's try to create a chart here, and then this should be by nationality. So I have a field called nationality. I will just put this onto the axis, and you can see I have those things, those long this. So I need to change the chart type to maybe something more reasonable. So I just change the chart type here. So I have this actually showing up the number of employees by nationality, but this is like not readable. This is not that flexible. So I will do one thing here. I will go to my view, Power view, and I will just try to apply some basic theming thing. So I will just customize this basic theme to have this more. So I will say this is my HR theme, and I want everything first and second level elements. You can do all 5 level of elements to this one black as well. So I will just make it this. I will do this as 14, title as 16, cards and KPI as 22. So I have these things available. Border, I will turn on the border and say this one. Right, header tooltip, fine page length. So I just customize these things. Like I customize the property called second level element. I customize the text size from general text size to be more readable 14, and then the titles to be 16. Make sure that you don't use too many different font sizes or font colors. Just try to use maybe two size, one size for the text and the other size for the titles. So I have done that. So once I do that, you can quickly see that now this is more readable kind of a thing, but it's still not that clear. So I will make some more changes to it. First one is I will go here x-axis and y-axis. I will turn off the titles because these title I don't want. I will just provide the title up here, the overall title. Let's go first define the title. So the title should be, this is not self-explanatory. This should be top and or sorry, I don't like this, top 10 nationality by head count. I would say something like this, and I can always align this one, align this, and I'll do something like maybe font color as white and then this as the background. Okay. So I have no more alignment. So once I have this title header, so I know that, OK, this is top 10 nationalities by head count. So I don't need this number of employee and nationality here. So I can quickly go into the format pane. I select visual, I go to the format and do some formatting of this visual. Like I will turn off this title. I will turn off this title, and then I will turn off the title for x-axis as well. OK, so I have done those two things here. Now you guys may still see like, OK, are we reaching what was required here in our task? So if you see here, I will just zoom it in. So let me know if you guys, so it's clear, but it's still not showing the top 10. So we need to work on the top 10 functionality as well, because this is currently showing more visuals. So how I can do that? We'll just do it in a minute. So let's say here we have these things available. So I will turn on the data labels. So now this is more slick, and then I will go here in the y-axis and I can increase the maximum size. So if so I can increase it like this. So I have some more spacing here. So I will just say, OK, I will usually play with this one. So I will do this. And for the top 10, so it only has the top 10. I will go here and I will this time I will have this filter called this and say this. I will change this to top 10. And I will say this should be my number of employees. So I will place this number of employee here. Oh, sorry. I just place it in the wrong place. So I will just click this one here. I will again go to the filter pane, this time top N, and top N. I need to provide this number of employees here. I provide the number of employee here. Okay, sorry, number of employee here. I need to provide this top 10. Okay, once I click apply filter, now you can see now these are the top 10. There is no scroll down. So if what is the difference between this? So if I clear this one just for now, and you can see that this is a scroll and this is showing me all the tables, right? So I will just copy paste this one for now just to save my space and time. So I have now this one. I will go here. I will say this and I will say the apply value as well. Once I apply, you see these are the top 10 bits, top 10 countries. OK, now I will do some more focus on the this one called sizing. So I will just say, OK, the size should be somewhere around 460 and I will just adjust in a bit. This should be somewhere around 380 and I will include a calculator here and 120 minus 380. I will say X position is 890 and this should be OK. So I have this one 710 minus 50 is 590. So I can go back to the level call. So I'm just trying, you can see what I'm doing in the calculator. I'm just trying to actually maximize the sizing here. So I have this chart available here, which is showing me this thing, which is fine. I just have this one for now. So now we have almost, if you go here and see what was our first part of the exercise, the first part of the exercise was to create a number of employee measure, create a visual to show number of employee by nationality, which we have created. I will skip this part for now and I will try to focus on this part. Once we finish this part, I will come back to this part so I can actually show you the difference. OK, so now if we go with this one, so we have actually completed this part. Now we need to have something like this. So let's focus on this one. And to do this, I will just click up here and I will quickly say, OK, I will check my starting point here, 890. Or rather than having this one here, I just deleted this one for now. I copy paste this one. So I have the same sizing, same thing available here. And I will have like something like this. So I have copied this one. This time I don't need to have this top 10 bit up here. So I have cleared this top 10 thing. Also, I will just make sure that everything is fine, perfectly fine. X position, I will need to adjust. I say this is 380 and this is going to be what was the 890? So I will say 890 minus 390. So 500 should be my starting position here. I'm just adjusting the starting position here for now. Let's have some space here. So this time what we need a chart. We need a chart with head count by department. So we need to focus on this one. So let's drag something here. So we have a department field here. What we can do, we can simply drag this department field up here, remove the nationality. So we have the head count by department now. OK, now one more thing is like we need, how about if we add the gender level segregation here? So if I add it here in the legend, I can see it like this, but I would prefer to have something like this, a combo level kind of thing. So this is more readable. Now, if you see this, I don't like this at the top, so I will try to adjust this for now. So I will say, OK, legend. I will say the position should be bottom center, which is fine. Now this is more fine, but this male and female are self-explanatory. So I know I don't need to have this called the gender title as well. So I just hide this title here. I need to adjust the title. So I would say the title should be head count by department because that is what it is showing. So I will say head count by department, something like this, which is very easily readable. One more thing is like these department names, I cannot read it. So I go to the y-axis this time again. And previously, we go here and increase the width between these two. So using minimum category width. Now this time we can increase the size here for these labels and the chart plotting area. So how we can increase? So now this is like, I will say something like this 35, which is fine. So I can read now the department names fully. Almost all the names are available. So now I can save this file. So if you see in less than 30 minutes, what we have covered almost this half part of the dashboard. Like, OK, now let's try to add some images because this exercise asks us to add some images and 2 cards to show gender. So these 2 cards it asks us to show. So what I can do is like I need to create 2 measures for it. So I can have a male and female count. So I will create this time. Currently, I only created only 1 measure. So this time I need to create a new measure here as well. So I will create a new measure called which should show me the number of employees by male and female. So I can simply, I have this one called female number of employees. So I have this thing and I will just use this to save my time here. I will copy paste up here. So how do you write this measure here? I will just explain. So you have this measure called number of female employee. You want to calculate the number of employee, but you want to apply a filter condition. So I'm applying a filter on table this employee, and the filter condition is where gender equals to female. So this will actually return me the female number of employees in my company. So this will company wide if I have another filter coming up here from the slicers. So we can use that as well. And same, I can copy paste this thing and I will say this is my male number of employees and I will use this male thing. Any question till this point? We can take the questions in between as well. So I have now created these 2 measures. Now we need to create this. I will just place this measure here. Number of male employee. I will just turn this to OK, now I just turn this to a card visual. And then rather than this, I will say, OK, 90. OK, actually, this was 380 divided by 190. I need to have it 890. 108. So I will say, OK, let's say the width is I'm setting it at 190. Height as 100 or maybe 110. So I am actually saying that, OK, Y position is this. I have this one and then I can actually make a copy of this and paste it up here. And this time again, I can adjust a few things here, a few minor things. I have the calculator here, 890. 080. So I'll say 1090. Okay. And X and Y should be same as well. 09. So I have placed these two things up here. Now here I need to, I just change this to the female number of employees. So if I remove this category label here, now I have this count. I can do the same for here. I can remove this category label here. So to add the images, what I will do here, I just quickly go here and I will say this should be 185 and so I can have some same thing here. Okay, so I have this thing available here. These card visuals are now showing. So if I add an image here, because I already download these images, I have downloaded these images from, you can download these images. I can find a make different colors. So the image I downloaded is with the black. Then I color this with the same label here, which is this light blue. So I will just quickly do a few things here, quick checks. I know this one. I will say, okay, this should be 70, 70. And X position, we remember this was 890 and Y position as 30. Okay, so now I have this one, which is like self-discriminatory, like, okay, this is the number of employees. If you want to up and down size of the image, you can do it like this. So you can actually minimize this one as well. Now I can add another image. I have one more image. So I download it in the black color, or you can download in the white color. Then you can change the color according to your theming. So I will do the same here as well. And this time I have this position called 1090. X position. And then width as 60, 60. Make sure both the images should be the same size. So I have. Okay. So now I place these two images here side by side. Let's say I have this starting position here. Okay. So I can have the same position. I just save it. If we go back, see how much we have completed here. So this was a chart. We have completed this thing. We have completed this thing. We have completed this and this. Okay. Now let's try to see what our exercise is. So if we go to the exercise, so we have completed half of the exercise 1. We have totally completed exercise 2. Let's move on to exercise 3, and then we can come back to this part. So we have this exercise 3 called, we need to add the calculation to calculate age, and then we will need to calculate average age, and we need to calculate age groups. So actually this is talking about this particular chart. So how do we calculate this age group? So if we go to the data set here in our employer, so we don't have, you can see we don't have any field where we have the age here. So we have the date of birth. So how do we calculate age from the date of birth? It's very simple. So you click on this one. So I think, okay, let's close this calculator for now because it was just disturbing on the side. So I will go here, click on the report and click on transform query this time. So I need to add a column. So I can add a column using Power Query, the M language. So I click on the date of birth here, and here I can click on add column transformation. So this time I say add column, and you have the built-in transformation for calculating the age. So I click on date of birth and I say from date of birth column, calculate me the age. Now here I go back. So I have created this has actually created a age column for me. But now this is, if you see, this is the number of age with duration in days. So how do I convert this from days to years? So I will just go to the transform and duration. I now change this to total years. So now I change it to total years. So this is actually coming as a fractional number. So I will go here and I will say round down. So if this is age is 48 and few months, so I will say age is 48 years. So once I did that, I can go click and apply save. So I have this one saved here as well. So let's see what it does. So it creates now two additional field in my data model. So if I click here, so you can see there is one field called age. So I can see all the ages are calculated here. Now to create the age groups, I need to create a new column in my data model, and this time I can create it using the dex switch statement. So I have this switch case statement here, and I will use this same switch case statement, and I will say if the employee age is between 0 to 21, then the age group is this. If the employee age is between this, so I'm using simple switch case statement. This is similar to the if else statement or case when statement which you have written. So once I created this one, you see I have this age thing available here. Now I will just copy paste this thing because copy paste will save a lot of our time. So I will save copy paste here, and then I can say we need a calculator again. I will say we need to go back from 500. We need to go back 390. So this is going to be 110. I will say, OK, our starting position is 110 and 120. So this is fine. Everything is fine till this point. And the height this time, I should say we need to halve this into two because we need two places. So let's say we have 290. OK, so this is the half of the height, what I have earlier. So now with this, let's say we have this age group column here I click on the chart and I can remove this gender here. And for this one, I have this age group. So I have this age group available up here. So you can see this one is kind of a similar what we have in our charts here. OK, now if I see what I don't like here is the scroll bar. So how do I get rid of this scroll bar? Because I don't like this we have this scroll bar. So what I can do, if you remember, we have actually increased this minimum category width here initially. So if I go back here, I turn this to the default, and you can see I have this one available as head. Now I need to, because this is actually the head count by age group. So I need to reflect on the title here. What head count by age group. So I think head count by age group. So we have this title up here, head count by age group. And if you want, you can create a same chart because we need to create one more chart here again. And if I say 120 plus 295, 315. So I will say X position is remain the same 110. This was I will say this as 415. 415. Let's check. Yeah, this is working, right? So if you see this chart here, so we need a work experience. So but we don't have a work experience any field. So how do we calculate the work experience? So we have the hire date here. So we will use again, go back into our transform query. So we'll go back here again in the transform query section. This time we click on add column, and from hire date, we will create again the age. And this time we say transform this using the same step, convert this to number of total years, and then apply the round down method. So And we will say this field as, we'll rename this field as I can say this as here. Let's save and see what we got here. So we'll say, okay, work here. This is working, and I'm saying I have this one. Okay, so now I save this one. I did it in the M, but if you want, you can just right click, come here, right click and do the renaming. So I need to create one more calculated field. Now this time, like previously, what we have created this thing called new column called for age groups. So this time we need to create a column called work groups or work experience groups. So I have created this work group column, and same condition I'm using, like if employee working year is greater than equal to this. So I use all the conditions here, and then I just save it up here. Okay, now let's try to plot this chart using the work group column which we have. So we have the work group column, and I remove this age group with the work group. Now this time, if you want, this is because this is not readable enough. So if I turn this to stack from bar to stack column, so I can read this more easily, right? And I can rename the title here as well. So the title here is, I can say, head count by work experience. So I will say simply this thing. So with this, I think the exercise number 3 is almost complete. So if you see here, now we have some more things up here, which is average employee age, average work experience. So how do we calculate average employee age and average employee work experience? So to do that, what I will do, I will simply create two more measures here. So I will say, let's copy paste these two things first here. Copy and then paste. I will try to adjust these two like here. So I have these two come up here. Now I create two measures called average employee age. So this time I will say I need to create a measure called. I will say, okay, average work experience is calculate average of work experience. So the number of work years we have calculated. So I will just use this one for now. And I will do the same for the other one as well. So I have this employee age as well. So I will say, let's create one more measure here. And I will have this one applied. So we have these two average measures here. I can place these two measure right into, rather than this one, I can choose this employee average age, and I can say average employee work experience. So I have, you can see that I have average employee age and average work experience. So I can just provide the title. So these two, I can turn on the title here, and the title could be average employee experience. And you can, just to match all those three. So what I can do, I can simply change the background and the font color here and do the same thing. So I have this one, average employee age. And I can do the same here as well. Okay, so I will just say the title. I already have the title here. I will say title. I turn on the title here, and I will say average employee age. And same, I would do the same background and font color just to match it up. Okay, So with this, I have almost completed this one. Now, how about if somebody wants to have this thing like this is showing the overall picture? How do I know if I need to create how many employees I have hired in particular year or what was the number of employees? So we don't have anything to actually filter based on date. So if I go here, somebody might think that I can use it end of service date of hire date as well, just to see what are the number of hire dates. So we first need to create a calendar dimension. To create a calendar dimension, I will go here and I will say I need to create a calendar or date dimension here. I will use simply the values between my start and end date. So I will say my calendar dimension starts and end between this period, starting from 2019. Let's go back to year 2014 as well. Or maybe let's leave it 2019. These years, so I have created this table. Now, once I created this table, I can use this table as a slicer and I can simply say, OK, turn this to year. And I can get rid of all these things here up here. And I will say, OK, I need to change this to a drop down and I can select 2017. So all my charts, nothing is changing. So what I need to create, I need to create a relationship between my tables. So one table can filter out the other table. So I click up here. Now let's try to format some of the things here. So to create a relationship, I just click this thing called manage relationship. I can create it from modeling tab, or I can right click from here, home tab, and I can go to the modeling and I just click manage relationship to create a relationship. So I need to create a relationship between my calendar date dimension, which I have created, and my employee table based on what? Based on hire date. So I know I can filter out. Cardinality should be one too many, and the cross filter direction should be single, and make sure this relationship is active. OK, once I click this one, so you can see now I can only see the employees which are hired in 2018. And similarly, I can see this thing called employees which are hired in 2019. But now moving to the next part, where if you remember, we have skipped some of the part in exercise 1, where it shows to create a measure which shows number of active employees and understand inactive relationship. So how do we know that? OK, what is happening? So when I want I have a requirement where I want to calculate like, OK, this is year 2018. But when I select 2018, it should bring all the employees which are hired either before 2018 or during till 2018 period. To create this active measure, I have this thing called active number of employees. And what I can do is like I will just write this measure up here. So I will just rename our previous measure here, which is number. I will say this is number of employee 1 for now. And I will create a new measure called number of employee. So because you don't create a measure with two similar name, and this time I'm taking minimum and maximum date, whatever the date range period is between my environment. And then I'm saying that hire date should be less than my end date. So if I select 2018, so it should bring all the employees which are actually hired before 2018. So once I do that, and you can see same, I am saying that on the end of service date is actually greater than. So these employees are actually they don't have resign or they don't have, they should be active employees. So it is not like they are these employees are resigned. So once I have this one, I just save this one for now. And I click here on the number of employees. And because these all are using this one. So rather than having this one, if I just change this to number of employee. And if I do the same thing here, number of employee. You can see I have changing this one, number of employee. I can have this one thing and I can change this to number of employee as well. OK, so now I have this one. So if I create this to a list or sorry, the range thing kind of a thing. So let's say I have this range available. So I can actually do it based on the range. So I can see the number of employees hired between these particular ranges. So with this, I think we have covered a lot of ground here. So I think nobody actually has a question, but like, OK, I will just show you here on this particular chart. So if I show you here, you see there is no difference. When I click this one and I place these two measure, these two are showing me the same value. Why? Because I have an active relationship. To turn this calculation correctly, what if I do, if I go here to the properties and make this relationship inactive. Now, if I go back here, you can now see the difference. So this is now showing the different results. So based on whatever the selection. So if I select, simply select this one called, I said changes as list. For now, changes as list. And I select 2018. So this is showing me 388. Now let's try to plot these two side by side so we get a feel what is the difference. So let's say, OK, this one. So you can see the other measure which I has number of employee, or to be more readable, I can change this to a clustered column. So you can see this one, the previous one, which is returning me 60616. But the current which I have, so this is actually returning me the active number of employees between this year. To better understand this, we will actually create two more card visuals here. And I will just do a copy paste simple here, simple copy paste, and I will place these two here. And in one of the chart, I will place this measure called number of employees. So, and I will say this as number of employees. So now you see the difference, like even when I click this 2018, this is actually returning me 101. And what this is doing, this is actually returning me 773. So this is showing me that 773 number of employees are active between this period. Even my relationship is inactive. If I turn this back again active, so you will see what is happening now is it is only showing me the number of employees which are hired in year 2018 rather than 773, like which are number of employees which are active. So if I just clear this one up, so both are showing same. And if I turn this back to inactive relationship, you'll see the difference, like one is going to show you 773 and this one. So I will just rename the titles here. So this is all employees. This is all employee. And I will say this one as active. OK, so or maybe active number of employee if we have the space and all num. OK. So this one you can see, and also if I want, I can just change this to a between range, and I can do this between the ranges as well. I can play with the ranges. So you can see this is actually showing me the result based on the number of year ranges as well. So let's say let's turn it back to year, or maybe a drop down. I will select this 2018. So I have selected this 2018 for now. And if I copy paste this one up here, and I just turn this to a monthly thing as well, because so I can just remove these other things here. I have this called year, I have something called month, and I change this data this type to list. I can have all the months. So if I select this one, this is a very interesting point that if I select year 2018 and I select July, so what will happen is like it will actually show that whatever the number of employees which are active till 2018 July. So those employees which are active between June, May, and April will come up here if they are still active till July. So if I turn this one up, you can see this is actually this is called sliding window. So we solve the sliding window problem through this one. Any question till this point? Some of you might be wondering that how we create this thing called. So we have let's rewind this one. So we have created a measure called number of employee. We created a visual to show number of employees by nationality. Then we create a measure to show active number of employee. And we understand the difference between active and inactive relationship. Now the second exercise, we have created a visual to show number of employee by department and gender. We added some images, we added card visuals, and we say how the images are self-explanatory and save you the space on your dashboard or report page. And the third one is we have created the custom column to add calculation for date of birth to calculate the number of years age, and same we did for the working experience as well. We have calculated the from hire date, we have calculated the work experience, and when we calculate the average age and average work experience. So with this, you can see we have almost designed something similar, not very similar, but we are close enough. So with this, if you want, I can just zoom it in. So you can see we have something very clear. If you want, we can adjust the sizing here for now. So we have some more spaces here. Let's say we will save around 360. And save around. So we have now just adjusted because we have some time here. We can adjust. Okay, so with this, like, did you guys like it? Enjoyed it? I'm open for the comments. You can just put the questions into the comments. I will save this file because this is a long time I haven't saved the file, so I will just save this file for now. And maybe we can adjust these two as well quickly because we have 2 minutes. Let me quickly adjust these two things here as well. So I will say this as 150, and it is 140. I will have the same up here, 10, 150, and then I will say something like this. So I have adjusted this thing. You can put the Lego up here if you want the thing, these to be reset. Like I have selected this one. This should be always selected as 2021. So, OK, if you want this as a default selection, what you can do, you can create a bookmark. So if I go here and in my view, I can change this as a bookmark. I add a bookmark and I say this is my default state. OK, so this is my default state. I added this bookmark. Now I add one button. I click here. I add a button called blank button. And this time I just placed it up here and I will turn off some of the things here. I will let the border. I have this. I will set the text as called reset filters, and maybe I will increase the size. Size is fine for me. I will say font color is white, and I will just add the background to it because I have the background here. I can turn the background here, so I can. This is more readable. Maybe I can increase the size if I want to just suit this more. So I have this one. So main thing about this one is to turn on the action. So I can turn on the action here and I can say action type is bookmarks. and bookmarks is the default state. So what happened now is like, let's say, suppose I save this file, and when I click the bookmark here, you can see I have selected the data as well. So this actually stores the default state of the data. So let's say if I change the selection or clear the selection here, and now I click control click, because when you are in Power BI, this actually set is to our default state. I think with this, we have almost covered all the session and we are just on time. So within 50 minutes, we have covered a lot of ground and we have some good dashboard here, which you can share, which you can go to your organization. Any question, I will welcome it to answer the question and through the chat window, or if I can show you here directly, I can show this one. Over to you,